this isn't Pro League. This is something completely different. Nip brought a lot of adaptability to their attacks, and they took that 6-3, which is interesting because Team 1 beat them 6-3.
It's good. It's a good turn of fate. Obviously, that was the first time they played in Pro League, so it was a while ago as we go. You can see Team 1 are taking a little bit more time to think about their bans here, and the first one to roll out is Glaz.
Yeah, not really any surprise there because, I mean, Team 1 didn't bring Glaz at all during their attacks. Nip did, and it was pretty devastating right there at the end. I would expect yet another Lion ban coming out here from Nip. And yeah, there it is. It's going to be...
There he goes.
So, Glaz and Lion going to be the first few bans here. Nip, I'm not really sure going to ban out of the defense. I would expect another Clash ban because Clash doesn't tend to be too map specific. It tends to be one of those operators, if you ban it, you don't want to play against that Clash. Maybe with the exception of when you ban it on Coastline. We're going to see how it goes in. It's actually going to be the Echo ban coming out. And that's kind of interesting because Team 1 didn't play a whole lot of Echo during their defenses on Oregon.
No, they didn't. They really just, it didn't seem like something. So it's definitely something that just Nip are just scared of. Just
maybe the Maestro coming out here from Team 1 now, but no, it's actually going to be the Clash coming out here from Team 1. So let's see how it's going to go down. Actually, sorry, my apologies. Smoke was banned out by Nip last game.
Yes.
And it was Clash who was banned out by Team 1. So still right.
No one wants to go against the Clash.
That, yeah,
I think that's the general term is no one wants to go against the Clash. As we go to lockers and CCTV, so yet again we find ourselves swinging into a basement first with hopefully a Team 1 that has a few more creative ideas to hold this defense.
Yeah, it should be going pretty well for them indeed. Let's see how it just go down as we do see a lockers CCTV room defense coming out first of all from Team 1. Nip going to start on the attack and open the series 1-0 so far. So all they have to do is take this particular map. And they take the series 2-0, and they proceed into our semi-finals. But don't forget, double elimination is a best of 3, so there's still a lot to be said about this. But Julio going to switch around onto that blitz yet again. He is still one of the best blitzes in the world. I don't think that's very disputed at all. Maybe people like Young could dispute that back when they played a huge amount of blitz during Pro League, but you know, we'll see how he just go down as we move into round number 1, and we'll see how aggressive this hold is going to come out from Team 1. They had a fairly aggressive roam game in Oregon, but Oregon does tend to be about that roam game, and I'd be surprised if we see that similar strategy coming out here. Although, what I will say, they don't have a huge amount of plant denial coming out from them. They do have the smoker, they do have the mirror, but maybe I'd like to see maybe at least one more Nitro coming out from Team 1 here. A lot of this defense relies on you having a lot of utility and being able to deny that plant onto the entrance to CCTV, where iBlax is playing right now, and he's going to be running the AA-12.
Now, it's one of those things that said, they were generally very aggressive on Oregon. What they looked like they wanted to do was pull back to the point and get rotated on the other side, which Nip would just not allow it. They were shutting down those rotations, shutting down those movements. So whether they're going to find a little bit more do that on this point, where there is a bit more places they can go, a few more escape points.
Yeah, potentially. We'll see how it does go down as we move further into round number 1's action phase. And Nip going to be very thorough in their droning, indeed making sure there are no roamers coming out from Team 1 here before they secure the map control. And of course, this is a very typical way of taking bank. But a lot of this is going to be more about taking control of server, pushing these server stairs. iBlack's running very typical setup on server stairs, running a shotgun, putting any sort of utility that they can down on there, putting ADSs down there as well, and seeing exactly what they can do with all of that. But Julio on the blitz is going to be pushing through straight into the lobby and see what he can do. Take out the camera on the default and moves through potentially into garage for a rotate here. And we'll see the rest of Nip instead move through into CCTV. Now, don't forget, they have 2 hard breaches, so there's a lot of utility here on the board for them to take the hatches and take that server wall.
Now, obviously, Julio's gone for the rotation. Looks like they want to push just through garage. Going to take it again. A little bit slower and steadier, sees the barbed wire, knows that they are being watched by Iron on the Maestro there. They do have a little bit of backup as they sneak in steadily. They're trying to find the frag. There's some damage, but instantly drops the Maestro. Whether that was worth the throwaway, turns their back, and they know that they're closing down on either side of Maestro.
Yeah, Iron's just going to rotate the way, but there goes to the pre-fire. Doesn't get the kill, however. Julio still pressing down in the garage, still pressing that threat indeed. More drones going to come out from Nip as Ion's still going to be playing fairly aggressively. Both the Italian operators are going to be playing fairly aggressively around this main stairway to try and get some early frags here whatsoever. But 1 minute left to go on the clock. it's starting to tick away from Nip, and it's starting to go against them here. Lots of drones coming out from them, lots of intel to begin their execute shortly, and they really have to start affecting the utility on the site if they want to deal with this at all. Nah, but still going to be playing onto the main stairway. 45 seconds left to go on the clock. We haven't seen a huge amount of utility usage from either side just yet. And Ivax just waiting for any sort of push. He's like, come on, just push me. There's going to be Julio who just pushed all the way down onto the main stairs. Make sure it's going on. As Psycho could be droning him out. Ivax just gets flashed. And Julio takes him down. Easy as that. No refrag coming out at all from Team 1. 30 seconds left to go on the clock. Nip have their entry frag. That's all they really needed for this. And just Team 1 are moving into a worse and worse position by the second. And Julio with a great entry fragging ability here. As Ion going to get very, very lit up. And just Panico moves all the way through into the TV room. As Sophia charges go down. Wag is the first fall. However, from Nip as Ion takes him down. Now Julio just pushes all the way down. But PCD just strips into the site. How does he do it? But GDM with a double kill with a shotgun. PCD with a kill of his own. And Psycho cleans it up. Panico goes down. Nip take round number 1. It's just a flurry of kills going down both ways. And wow, just everyone dropped down those back hatches to try to get straight into the site.
That was crazy how many trades happened towards the end there. Obviously, they're playing such a slow and steady game, but that was panic, I would say, from the first time we've generally seen from that Nip attack. It seemed much more controlled in the previous one, and that was, again, a lot of flurry. You saw the diffuser go, it was traded within the final 10 seconds. It's... It was probably a few sweaty palms there as they went on that final push. As we go back down to lockers and CCTV again, Team 1 are going to say, well, maybe we'll take it this time.
I think the differences are in this Nip attack and the Nip attack that we saw in Oregon is that I feel like it's still the same overall strategy where they get control and they force out the roamers and they get the control of what they want to do and they push where they want to and they put all their utility down. They don't rely on picks, they rely on utility, which is exactly the Nip that we want to see. This is exactly how a competitive team should be playing. They should not be relying on frags, and Nip are doing beautifully well in that. But I don't think it was chaotic. I think it was well set up for refrags, especially coming out from Julio there. And just pushing all the way in, and just using that kind of armored drone ability that most shields do have, where they just sort of push in and just see what's going on and try and bait out some sort of picks or some sort of utility usage from the defenders early on. And I think that this time it was different because Oregon saw a lot more roaming from Team 1, and this time most of the frags had to be on the site instead. And with that, you're inevitably going to find trades finding so many defenders in such a small space.
For sure, and obviously coming in as the attackers as the first 5 on this map is probably playing to their favor, especially as they've carried over that first one. Whenever you change maps, there's always the question of how much momentum your team is going to keep, how much kind of sit down, let's have a breather, let's discuss this, the team that comes in on the back foot gets, but they are still rolling. This is just more and more rounds in a row for them, and they're probably aiming for that straight 5 again, and with the way they're playing, it would not be surprising if they managed to pull it off.
Not be surprising at all. We're going to see much more droning coming out here from Nippy yet again. And just being very methodical, but we're seeing a fairly similar setup coming out here from Team 1 yet again. Kind of surprised that Ion isn't playing a little bit more aggressively into the garage itself. Because you normally do see a Maisha or an Echo playing in there, and maybe just playing behind the ambulance or something, but I'm going to be playing a little bit safer onto the garage ramp instead. And just putting all these Maestro cams down there and lots of utility. But Nip, I got to start finally moving in, taking control of the bank area. Not a lot of roaming at all coming up from Team 1 this time. And that's not surprising at all, but it's going to be Panico playing on the main stairs. He's going to retreat back down. And again, just fairly similar strategies to what we've seen so far, but no Jaeger at all coming out from Team 1 is a little bit confusing. But I don't think it's going to hurt them too much because there's actually no frag grenades from the attack here.
As you said, they are using their utility for their pushes and to kind of not bring the operator that is arguably the famed one for stopping utility or just eating it up as soon as it starts getting through. It's down to them if they think it's what they need to do and what they need to swap out. Again, they're very aggressive defenders, Team 1. They like to set themselves up a bit out of point and then pull back softly and then move around. And it's not really coming off for them at the minute. They're struggling to find that little pocket that they can find themselves sitting.
Could be going very well for them indeed, and Hooksaw does play this sort of very long double mirror coming out here. Very nice indeed, and typically works well with a smoke in your arsenal, but they will not actually have that this time. It's kind of interesting to see. Big lack of utility coming out here from Team 1 to deny this plan, and I'm not sure if Panico has a Nitro in his back pocket or not, and I'm not sure if he does, but if he doesn't, then I feel like Team 1 don't have enough to deny this push at all. Julia's just going to detonate the Legion mines at all, just making sure it's all clear to go for Wag to just move in there and plant.
See, Ion is still holding deep into Garage. They should generally know that, okay, maybe this is where the push is coming from now. There's 30 seconds left. Julio is knocking on the door of the other point, and yet Panico is still just kind of rolling around. In fact, no, Julio has gone for a rotation upstairs. They're going to try and get a bit more aerial control, get the utility down. As we said, they love to push with utility as they drop straight into point.
Yeah, Julio gonna get all the way in there, goes for the flashbang, but Hugzord goes massive! Beautiful double kill coming up from him, but Psycho finds a double kill of his own as Hugzord left alone, but Psycho goes down to him. It's a 1v3 now, all down to PZD, and he can't get the diffuser down, but oh, he's right there! Oh, he gets his pistol out, he pistol with Panico, but Hugzord with a beautiful 4K takes PZD off the board, and Team 1 hold on. They take their first round in quite a while.
Now, not entirely sure where they were looking when they pushed in against the diffuser plant there. It didn't seem like they really knew entirely where PCD was trying to put it down. And that almost went the other way because of that. Obviously, there was one down and one person running into the point backwards. So that was, oh well, it paid off. It paid off in the end as we go, obviously, into the third and the first different point, Teller's Office and Archives.
Brilliant Nitro coming out from Hugzord there right at the end to secure those kills, but a little bit of a misplay is coming out from Nip there. They tried to commit maybe not enough utility to that service push. There wasn't really any plant denial that they had to really worry about. There's no Echo because he's banned. There's no smoke for some reason from Team 1. They could have maybe just gone for a bit of a more effective smoke plant there, and it all just kind of fell apart, and there wasn't enough spacing from Nip. They all just tried to rush through that one doorway, and Hugzord, he had great advantage there. If you get those kills to stop the push, the smoke will dissipate and allow you to continue playing that mirror window effectively. Nip didn't have a good time at even trying to deal with the mirror window.
It'll be interesting to see how they translate the whole thing here. So that is the first defensive round we've seen Team 1 take across the first map and the second map, obviously the second one in, but it's the first time they've won one, and that's obviously, that's a big thing for them at this point now. They've got to try and keep that mindset because they led going into the half of the previous map. If they can get 1 or 2 rounds, even in this, to trade the lead, that will set them up so much better mentally and in terms of obviously points for their attacking 5, which they seemed much more comfortable with.
Yeah, I would say they've been fairly more comfortable on the attack than they have been on the defense, and this is going to be a much harder defense indeed. They're going to be bringing the book because he knows they're going to be defending the Tellers and the Archives, and one essential part of this defense is keeping that vertical control or holding it from the open office instead, which Hugzord will be doing. We see lots of utility going down in this kitchen area, but also see one mirror window from GDN going down onto the site instead. So a little bit of a mixed utility usage coming out, but also sees the castle coming out from Panico is good as well. It's actually the first time we've seen a castle this series.
Yeah, castle, obviously, castle is very, very useful in terms of holding the vertical control, especially on this point. If you set those castles up upstairs, they've got it on the window there just to stop any kind of loose fire coming through, which, to be fair, again, Nip's been doing very well. You can see Julio is going for that upstairs control, the vertical control, with Buck as well. So I think we're very close to seeing some holes opening right above the heads of Team 1. How they're going to try and rotate to counter that, you can see PZD's holding those stairs. They're waiting. It'll be interesting to see how 1 decide to start dealing with their already loss of vertical control. Julio getting Panico there.
Beautiful use of vertical play coming out from Julio there. Takes Panico off the board immediately. He'll be open a little bit more vertical play for himself. But again, no Jaeger coming out from Team 1 is definitely going to bite them a little bit here. As Julio has managed to well place some nades before. Takes the mirror window off the board as well to move into the second half of the round. We're still seeing a fair amount of Team 1's utility, and it operates either in or around the objective. Because Hugzord and Ion both going to be playing around this sort of main stairway and elevators hall area, and iBlack's going to be playing on the site. So there's not really a lot of control here for Team 1 right now, and they're slowly being spread apart. Meanwhile, Julio's just having a field day upstairs as PZ tries to push down the main stairway. They know exactly where these defenders are, but it's all just a matter of how to push them out. Legion Mines are going to get detonated. Julio getting ready to jump down the elevators and trying to get the surprise on anyone. Ion's still going to be playing fairly close by to see what he can do here, but Psycho finds his kill. Hugs are going to go down immediately there. Ion going to be trying holding this down. They know where he is. Legion Mines is going to get detonated. Iblox finds first kill for Team 1. However, Psycho goes down to a headshot on a 4v3 now. So Iblox is going to get right on traded back by Julio with his second kill of the round. But Ion going to trade two. Beautiful from Ion. PZD and Julio go out of it. It's a 2v2. Equalize the scoreboard down. Kamikaze going to try and push onto the site as well as Wag from the opposite side. And he does have control of the diffuser. Going to mush in. The flashbangs go down, but GDN takes down Wag, and that's going to diffuser down. Kamikaze takes control of the open mirror window here. Using the bearing, tries to get into the site and tries to get the kill away. He can, but he doesn't see GDN. GDN takes it down. Team 1 take round number 3 with their second defense.
Well, that was a very vital play there from the Legion, obviously just locking down the 2 kills upstairs. And it's for giving away vertical control so quickly and for not bringing the Jaeger to deal with anything dropped through those holes, they still managed to pull it off. They still managed to keep the defense and keep it all together, which is rare to see, I would say. Normally, as soon as you lose vertical, it becomes such a shaky defense. But they kept through it, and they kept on.
Well, I mean, I don't think it really mattered too much because most of NiP's attack was kind of pushing down the main hallway and trying to push into that elevator hall. But most of the defense coming out from Team 1 wasn't really actually concentrated on the site at all, but more kind of into the open office area, rather. And that's really the main advantage of what you're doing there, that it allows you to just say, okay, you can have vertical control. It doesn't really matter because we don't need it, because we still have control of open area, and we don't need
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Now we go to the third point. We didn't actually see a third point on the first map. They generally just rotated between the two. So it's nice to see these guys branching out a little bit more on a map they seem to have a few more ideas for. Obviously, Team 1, 2-1 up now. Defensive rounds in a row. NiP, a team we know loves to attack and loves to play their attack rounds as well. It's kind of struggling now. I would say they're going to have to think of some new ways. And we talked about it in the previous map, is they are very good at adapting. They're very good at bringing extra roles.
They definitely are, and I'm glad there's been a lot more recognition of soft destruction here from NiP, as we'll be bringing the Jackal, the Ash, and the Buck, all very capable of soft destruction, as well as that hard destruction from Wag and Kamikaze yet again. I'm kind of surprised there's no, like, Doc or Rook here, and I know that's not really too surprising in comp, but normally on a CEO defense, you do see a lot of ACOGs from the defenders, and it's kind of just a peek everything strategy.
Well, peeking with the ACOGs aside, and what operators need ACOGs to be fair-handed to them. You can see Psycho, again, Jackal. So we haven't seen Jackal's ability used too much or too decisively to pick off the roamers, I would say. As far as I know, it's generally just been trades and fast and hard trades from the brilliant drone work they've been doing. It'd be interesting to see if they start trying to put Team 1 on a bit more of a back foot, which is what they really, really managed to do very well on the previous map.
Kaneko just trying his hardest to just get up onto that bomb there to be potentially putting down a Maestro cam, I would expect, as we move 1 minute into the action phase now, and a lot of control is slowly being gained by NiP, but no kills going out from either side just yet. And this is not too unusual at all, but PZD has managed to find his way all the way into the archives. Great vertical control already gained by PZD, but oh, the shots are going to come through. Hugzod not too happy about, sorry, not Hugzod, it's going to be Ion who's going to be playing into that open office area. Not too happy about PZD getting control so quickly over that area, but it's going to be the thermite charges going down from square stairs into CEO. It's going to be PZD going to hold down downstairs as well. Flash events are going to go out. It's like thermite charge is going to go down at GDN and potentially going to try and impact trick this. But no, they're not going to be able to do it at all. GD going to be trying to retreat as Gio takes out the Valkyrie camera on top of square stairs. And NiP start to go for that execute, but the person with the smokes is still on the roof, and that is not a good placement.
As you said, they have so much soft destruction, and they are really utilizing it at the moment in time. They took out, obviously, we saw Ash playing underneath, getting a lot of that vertical control, and maybe that was why they couldn't get the impact trick off to stop the thermite, and that is so much that has been opened up at this point now. This is NiP at what they should be doing, what they could have been doing these past few rounds. The first frag goes off Ion, picking off PZD down underneath in staff room. You can see Julio getting some shots against it from those big windows. You're always careful about just rotating back up to the top, not going to risk losing that second frag grenade. That could be so vital.
Not going to risk it at all. Hugzol going to be trying to peek it out, but these Habana holes opened up. He's going to leave you in a pretty bad situation. He's trapped in the corner here, but hopefully he realizes he's actually going to have to move out of here just so far. Yeah, 20 seconds left to go on the clock. Nip are starting to run out of time. They haven't really got a lot of utility down, but the frag grenades is actually going to go out to Conference, but Psycho takes down Hugzol finally. Finds the first kill for his team, but iBlax instantly trains it back. GDM with the SMG-11 takes down Wag. Kamikaze finds iBlax right on back. And that's a 2v3. Not looking for Nip. Julio goes down. He's all down to Kamikaze with the Berry 9. Tries to take it out. Tries to find the kill. Just find the kill into Panico, but can't find any more. Team 1 take round number 4. Their third consecutive round, doing very well on these defenses, it seems, and a complete opposite Team 1 to what we saw in Oregon.
Yeah, their defense seems like everything that they were doing on the first map, they are still kind of doing on this map. They're playing a bit aggressively, they're playing those frag rolls, they're leaving soft walls, they're doing what we kind of saw them doing, but this time it's working. This time they are finding those frags, they're finding those trades, and they're really starting to shine on their defenses. They're going back down to lockers and CCTV. They're one round drop this map, but that was the first round. And obviously this is their final defensive. Are they going to go to this trade and this half-time 4-1 up? Or is Nip going to be able to find just a little bit of that momentum that we've seen them carry so well?
I would really like to see a Ying here from Nip, honestly.
There it is. But we've changed to start from an open as well. They're not going back down to basement. They're actually going to take staff and open instead. The
reason I say that I would really like to see Ying here, and I'm glad that Julia's finally bringing it, is that the reason that we're not seeing a lot of successful attacks here from Nip is because on Oregon, there was not actually a lot of people on the site when Nip actually started their execute. Most of the people they were killing as the execute came through were roamers coming through to flank. And time again, Team 1 were not successful on those flanks. But this time, we're not seeing as many roamers coming out from Team 1. Most of the people are on the site, and when the executes come down, it's just trades after trades after trades are coming down from Team 1, or they're pushing them out of the site and they're not allowing the entry to come in, and there's not enough utility usage from to force the win. But both of those roads lead to the fact that most of the people are available on the site from Team 1, and the Ying should circumvent that. On top of the fact that this is the first time we've seen a Jaeger coming out from Team 1 since the first round. So I think that this is fairly interesting. But I think that a lot of comp teams don't really see the use in bringing Jaeger much anymore because he's so easy to deal with him. I mean, there's Thatcher's EMPs that can destroy it. There's just a whole myriad of gadgets that can burn those ADSs. But it does deny a little bit of utility. And the fact there's no Sophia on the board here from the attack might slow down things moving through, but there should be 9 flashbangs here from the attack at a maximum. So, yeah, it goes both ways, and that's going to be more than enough to burn all the ADSs. But it's going to be iBlax already very lit up as Julo going to be trying to open it up onto CEO to see what he can do here. But this is the final attack for Nip, and this is their chance to try and bring themselves into a round on the attack before they move through onto the defense. Julo's going to be droning it out on CEO. We're still seeing a fairly heavy roam strategy coming out from Team 1, though, even on this site, it seems, as we see lots of drones coming out from Nip here through onto Square Stairs and seeing what they can do to try and get their entry, but not seeing any frags go down just yet.
No, it is really, obviously, you can see that they're trying to get control. They're trying to just push them back. You could see, obviously, Ying LMG opening up across the floor there. They are pushing steadily, and I would say much more as a unit than we've seen them so far. This is a Nip that is being a little bit more cautious. They got a little bit too comfortable, a little bit too relaxed, as they're just kind of taking it room by room, play by play. There's a minute 30 left. We have seen them bring their collapse and bring their execute within that final 15 to 20 seconds, and it has worked. So whether it's not the worst thing in the world for them to be a little bit behind the clock, but at the same time, a double hard destruction loadout instead of with only really a little bit of soft destruction. It'll be interesting to see how they decide to utilize this push, utilize this setup of utility they have generally relied on so far in all their successful pushes.
They have relied on it quite well, but the utility is going to start going down. Julio finds the first kill of the round. Hugzol finally going to go off the table. That's already the Maestro down there. Is a huge pick for the attackers here. Let's see if they can find a few more. It's going to be the final minute of the round, but that is exactly what Nip needed to begin this attack. Moving in, looking pretty good for them. Psycho going to be trying to find another, and he does! He takes down GDN, but Julio executes and steals the kill. 5v3 now. And Julio moves all the way in. What? When Julio takes Ion off the tail of PZ, takes down Iblex. And Wag finally on the board finds the kill onto Panico. Nip take round number 5 in a beautiful, flawless round from them.
More cautious Nip really just struck hard there, and that is the first flawless I think we've seen across both maps, I believe, apart from maybe the very, very first round. But that was the team that they did. That was the team that they should have had, and they have had today quite a lot as well as we go on to the halftime. Now, the defense was where Nip struggled previously. It seemed like where Team 1 really, again, they just locked off their attack. They're going to try and rotate around there. They're going to try and rotate around their abilities to get so quickly towards point as we go to Staff and Open as our first hold.
And I don't want to brag or anything, but I did say they needed a Ying, and they brought the Ying, and they won the round. So I'm not saying that coach, they should bring me on as a coach. But
are you still looking for analyst jobs? Or?
Well, you know, I'm open.
On the plane to Yemen. As we go, Pulse, Ella, Valk, Maestro, and Mira. So we've already talked about how much intel these guys like to bring towards their team and how much they love those. Obviously, the cameras set up. You've got 4 of the big intel. The only one we're missing there is Echo. So it'll be interesting how that plays in towards their holds on what is much more open and much wider points compared to Oregon.
We're going to see the Blackbeard for the very first time in the series. It's not completely out there. We do see a lot of Blackbeard. Normally plays around the lobby windows. We'll see how this defense works out for Nip, because this is kind of a surprise take going in that open area to start with. I mean, this is not really a site that we see too often, even just to start with. Normally we do see the CEO defense, the Archives, and the Vault.
I couldn't tell you the last time I've seen it as a first pick. Obviously, it's the one that is often heralded as the hardest thing. But they're going to by surprise. Maybe that is what Nip need to open up their defense and bring this to 3. 3 obviously taking the previous round and hoping for a bit more momentum to carry through there. You can see they're still setting up their defenses. They're playing a wide game, as we've seen them do. Panico going for the clear, trying to get some sights across the top. You can see they are very spread out, Team 1, on this take. They really want to lock down all potential rotations, and it seems like they're going to be very methodical. Which, to be fair, when they did struggle against the defensive Nip was when they did not clear the room. They did not look for those holds and look for those loose players like Psycho, who is just playing not far away from the Habana. As Ion gets the opening frag, and there it is. There is exactly what we called. They need to start doing this, and they are doing this. Picking off those roamers and putting Nip in a tight spot.
Yeah, not looking too good for Nip at all. That's the Ella down already. That's a pretty big pick coming out here for the attack. And interestingly, Zofia is the one to kill the Ella. Sister versus sister there as we move in further into... Yeah, points. It's all about the points.
It's all about points.
Yeah. As we move about halfway in now to the action phase of round number 6. And Julio's actually going to go onto the roam. Now, he's done this a few times before, and it's interesting to see him mirror roam, but the fact that he doesn't have a Nitro anymore may actually support this strategy in a way, in the fact that he's kind of done his job on the site now. He can rotate around and he can try and go for a flank, and we've seen Julio be incredibly effective with that Vector, and he's been pretty deadly with it so far. Let's see how Nip try and return this favor, as we see a lot of vertical play getting started to open up here for Team 1 to see if they can start to get control. But other than the opening frag, they haven't really done much else with this time so far. I'm trying to see if Hoaxel is going to be able to access some sort of impact pushing in here, but despite the fact they've got 2 hard breaches, we haven't seen either of them do anything yet.
And I am curious what has happened to Kamikaze's C4. Obviously it is gone, but I did not see what it went against, whether it was for a rotational, you're not quite sure. You still have Pulse playing with one of those underneath, so it's not the end of the world. But again, when utility that powerful, and we've seen it used powerfully, goes missing, you wonder. Kamikaze getting a little bit of a close trade, but Blackbeard picks up the frag, and PZD gets the return. There is Pulse showing up in the nick of time. Julio getting into a firefight at the top, going to rotate back underneath through Vault, and Wag severely injured in the staff room there.
Severely injured indeed. It's going to be a 3v4 now. Not looking too good. PZD's Nitro goes out, but can't find a thing, but he kills a double kill from PZD! Iblex and Ion out of it, tries to pistol whip Panico, but does lose that fight. But Julio from below takes down GDN to clean things up. Meanwhile, Wang does manage to refrag onto Panico, and Nip beautifully clean up round number 6 and take their first defense. Surprisingly, didn't look like it was going to go that way to start with.
No, when PZD was under that much pressure, the Pulse with just the C4, using it and getting the double through that window that he opened up. That was a bold play, and it really played off. You can almost guarantee that he was hoping to get a frag from the C4, but in the end, it didn't even matter because he just shot straight through and took Team 1 by complete surprise with some brilliant, I'd say a little bit luck that they lined up there, but he was there to
It's all skill. It's all
skill.
calculated.
All
He
skill.
knew that was going to happen. He knew they were going to be playing those positions.
As we go to Executive and CEO, rotating all the way up to the top floor, and Castle brought out yet again. The man showing up with his steady walls, probably to watch over, well, any Overwatch. Now, I will say, obviously, Smoke was banned on the first map. Wasn't banned on this, but we're not seeing him picked. Do you think that is due to the Latam play style, or do you think he's just not needed?
I think that in this, I think it's a bit of both, right? That Smoke kind of is needed on this, but not on this site particularly. I'm kind of surprised we're not seeing Smoke, but I think that Latam playstyle, we don't see a huge amount of Smoke on Bank, but we do see a lot of Smoke roam on Oregon, which is interesting. We saw a lot of that in the last OGA pit, and I'm kind of interested to see if we see it in this one. But moving through into this round, I feel like the Smoke isn't necessary here, but I would still like to see him. And again, I'm kind of a little bit surprised that we're not seeing kind of like the ACOG peak everything strategy coming up from the defense here. But, you know, that's purely on Nip there to see what they want to do. And the fact that they've got the mirror kind of means they don't really need to do that at all. They can just hold down fairly well. And obviously the castle's being brought here as well to sort of play into that strategy where the mirrors can be playing fairly safe.
It does seem like they're bringing a lot more kind of solid, and I use the word very lightly here because of how they like to play turtle-less defense operators than we've seen from Team 1. Obviously, they have the Jaeger, which was rare to see. They have the Castle and the Mirror. It seems like they're a bit more comfortable holding a bit tighter, but at the same time, that was their first defensive round they've generally won in a while. So exciting to see how they can translate it. You can see PZD, that is where he wanted the Castle. He's holding the very tight angle there, and it's so, nope, I'm not going to risk it any longer. I would have got the pick by now. There is no point hanging around. Let's leave it to Wag on that Maestro just to feed any information and hold and hope to get those picks. And obviously, it seems like those picks from Nip's defense is really what's throwing Team 1 off.
It can do, definitely, and there's still a lot of utility usage here from Nip to bring aboard. But 1 minute into the round, we do normally see Team 1 getting at least either a pick or getting a lot more control than this by now. As Iblax is going to try and open up this mirror window now, and he's going to be able to do so successfully because there's... Wait, what?
Did not do it successfully.
I guess not. Just brought the wrong pellets today, as he will be trying to open up onto the elevator hall instead. And we will see Wags. My show cam just going to be around onto the elevator hall. But I am going to be slowly pushing up onto Spiral, pushing onto Banana, as Zofia Charge is going to go out into the site. We're going to see what he can do here. Know that Habana Charge is going to go down to see what they can do. As Julio is still going to be playing around, but again, didn't blow it up.
Could have been an impact from PZD there,
actually. Right,
it
yeah,
impact
it
from
was.
PZD.
It was just so perfectly timed with a normally see the
team
explosion from the Habana. But yeah, no, PZD did impact that good
now,
spot.
A minute left and every single defender left alive, which is definitely not how Team 1 normally take their attackers. They like to get at least 1 or 2 picks very quickly as well. They close down towards the point, as you said, and they close down the distance that they can get towards getting the diffuser down. And they were very good at getting the diffuser down in their previous attacks, but you can see they're kind of stuck here on the big open stairs. 3 of them stacked up as PZD gets a beautiful kill through the railing. The amount of players that complain about railings, the second Psycho is only centimeters away! Somehow doesn't get the frag though. Panico gets it instead. Maestro still hanging off. IQ very injured as well now.
Yeah, but it's going to be a 4v4 situation now. Zofia and Valkyrie both of the tables. Kamikaze finds a kill, but what? GDN just sprints all the way up the spiral stairs and he goes down for it. What a huge misplay coming out from GDN, and actually PZD is going to get the kill onto Panic, but not before Ironblast gets the kill of his own onto Julio. Ironblast runs in, he gets the kill onto Wag as well. Has to recover the diffuser though, in 10 seconds left to go. He's got to find 2 kills, but he can't find 1. PZD takes him down. Nip take round number 7, and PZD just doing work on the UMTP today.
That is Nip. Again, that's 2 defensive rounds in a row. That is the complete opposite to how we've seen. Team 1 just seemed like they had no idea how to start pushing against the hold. And obviously they went for rotations, caught completely out by oNe rotating back from underneath. Oh, even oNe was the one caught out. But it's just, it shows that NiP, they're more comfortable on this map. And it's coming across. It's the map pick. It's having a pick and not being just banned out. Teller's Office Archives. We go to next the Jaeger, Lesion, Valk, Maestro, and Mira. Going to try and keep this NiP train a-rolling.
NiP are clearly very prepared moving into this match, and we're very much ready for Bank and Oregon, it seems. Let's see if they do continue this trend as they move on to a Teller's Office defense. Surprisingly, still not going downstairs, but maybe just saving it to secure the match point right at the end there.
It is a nice one to fall back to, obviously, and it is the usual go-to as the first. It seems like NiP, to be fair, opening on open, is your defensive round, is always bold, but it paid off. And maybe just the psychological impact of saying, we took you to what is often said as the worst point, and we won it. That can throw a team, especially LATAM teams, who are so, they love to rely and bask, or not rely even, but bask in the momentum, bask in when they play well. You can tell they very much wear their emotions in their method of playstyle, and you can kind of see it in Team 1. It's Team 1 that is slow. They're a bit scared and a bit skittish as they start to push against NiP, which are the opposite. They're getting more aggressive. They're getting more confident.
I would definitely agree that Latin America teams definitely rely very, very heavily on momentum. And you can definitely see when it's starting to go wrong for them. Hopefully Team 1 just start to try and bring this back a little bit. And you see they have changed their strategy accordingly. They are going to be bringing oNe back on the Ash role, which he was doing so successfully with on Oregon. He has so many good entry frags being on Ash. And I mentioned at the time that if you're bringing Ash over Zofia, the Ash needs to get the kills. But oNe was doing just that. He was doing beautifully well with it. It's Kamikaze going to be using the Maestro counter onto square stairs. He's going to get fairly aggressive with it. Going to go for those pre-fires, but retreats back onto Janitor Closet. Can't find a kill going out just yet. So he's going to be droning him out. We're seeing lots of utility coming out very early on as oNe going to be trying to move into square stairs here, but Kamikaze still has 2 ADSs in his back pocket there, confusingly.
Seems like they're a little bit worried again about the aggression from Kamikaze. They're holding the angle. They're just going to let the might tick a little bit into their leg there as well. The call is coming out from the KB as well. Kamikaze's under a bit of pressure. He does have a little bit of option there. PZD is not far away. There is a rotation hold there for the Jaeger, but Jaeger is going to hold it as much as they can. You can hear the destruction going off. iBlack's using utility to get that vertical control, and there goes the first bit of rotation. oNe trying to open the wall. If he had opened that a little bit sooner, he might have picked up the rotation there. And the bullets start flying between the two pairs of two upstairs. The big rotation there coming from Kamikaze going out to the corridor. oNe doesn't catch it, sees the back of Lesion, and finds PZD, however.
Great kills from oNe again, coming out as he starts to move in, gets his entry frag onto the Lesion, and iBlack's with this very nice angle to conference. He doesn't find the kill! What? Kamikaze gets away on 1 HP in a dream, and he finds the kill to Panico! What? And he finds the Claymore! How does Kamikaze get out of that situation and finds the kill out of it? What is that? What just happened?
That was unbelievable. One more bullet would have dropped him there, and instead he picks up a frag. That is something that is really, really going to bite the players of Team 1, because that was a big throw there. Losing the IQ, just a bad frag clearance. Obviously, 2 of them exceptionally injured. And Kamikaze, he is a strong breeze away from death, but they do have that vertical control now, and you can see oNe is starting to open it up. Wag gets Hugsword. In the meantime, and now that is 4-3 NiP with the man advantage now.
Oh, another beautiful kill coming up from Wag. Just drops iBlack as he drops down, but oNe quickly there to trade it right on back. But Psycho going to trade right back into oNe, going to leave it all into the hands of GDN on the Thermite. As using the Fragmite combination here, going to be moving on to the Archives, has control of the site, does have Diffuser in hand, but he's very aware of the push coming through. Psycho takes it down with a headshot, and NiP put themselves onto map and match point, ready to take the series just 1 round away. And I would expect them to go into that vault defense, sorry, the downstairs CCTV servers room.
It would amaze me if they decided to not go there, but some of the stuff we've seen today already between these 2 games, I would say, is amazing. Obviously, the board is much more spread out. The NiP balance of kills there and frags and assists is beautiful how it plays together now. Obviously, we commented a donut's always bad, but these guys are locking it off this time.
the absolute blitzkrieg just coming out right there at the end, coming out from Team 1, just get completely destroyed by Nip, and they are going to go to a staff open area. So, you know, again, honestly, I'm kind of okay with this because it's kind of bringing that in of now Team 1 are thinking they have to go downstairs now. They've been saving it the entire their defenses, and oh my god, Psycho is going to sick pick onto the Caveira. Are we going to see an interrogation here in OGA Pit?
Well, it was the one time, the one map we have ever seen Pro League level interrogation was on Bank. And it was in the finals of the most recent major. So, hey, anything can happen. I'm not averse to the idea.
Anything can happen indeed. I'm not sure if, I mean, Cav, not normally the playing competitive, it's mostly because of utility usage, right? But honestly, can throw off teams sometimes, and maybe if you have a little bit more looser play style, if you're not expecting as much of a roam clear coming out from the attackers, if they're not doing so good with the drones, which honestly kind of looked that way coming out from Team 1 with the fact that they did not shut down that Jaeger well enough. Maybe their comms aren't quite there, maybe their drone work isn't quite there, but their roam clear was not as impressive on that round as it has been in the past. Maybe this Cav is going to throw him off a little bit. Maybe it's not going to. It'd be interesting to see what the Cav is running here. Because if she's running the shotgun... Okay, no, she's not. She's actually going to go for the spawn peek here. Psycho is getting ready for it and living up to his namesake here. He's just going to go big to try and go for the spawn kill. And oh, he should get it here. Just lining up perfectly with the red dot side, but he can't find the kill. And he just runs all the way out of there. But don't forget also, there is actually a Jackal from the attack. So there is a bit of counterplay here.
For sure, obviously, and now they instantly know where Cav's been, and that is going to be a quick close down. Jackal pushing from the opposite side of the map, though. Psycho has rotated all the way down to Vault. Not going to hang around there at all. They knew what they were trying was, said their namesake, and they are not that crazy. They're not throwing it all away, but obviously the big comparison here between the Team 1 that we saw on the previous map and the Team 1 on this map is even when they lost rounds, they got the diffuser down 3 times out of 5 rounds.
Well, what I mean is that Cav is the Jackal counterplayed, right?
Oh, fair.
Because she can use her silent step, and that removes the ability to track her from Jackal. So there's a lot of time-wasting ability here from Psycho if potentially they rely too heavily on Jackal's Inox. Could waste a lot of utility here. Meanwhile, the rest of Nip looking to play maybe most of it onto the site. And hopefully Hoaxall should be able to do a little bit of work here. But it's going to be Wagyu takes down Panico with the first kill of the round already. The sledge off the ball, that's frag grenade has gone down already. That is not looking good at all. And just beautiful plays again coming out from Wag on the Maestro. Again, he's going to try and get another kill, but Kamikaze is the one who secures it. Ion going to go down to a headshot from him. It is a 5v3. It is not looking good at all for Team 1 to bring this in. Wag for more pre-fires, but Kamikaze again going to find another kill. GDN going to go down. And it's all down to Hoaxall and Iblax to try and bring this in. Nachos are going to go out. Hoaxall's just going to stand still and remain vigilant, but Iblax is going to get injured and interrogated! It's an interrogation! And Hoaxall is going to run all the way through, but Julio knows exactly where he is. Takes it down with a headshot, and that's Nip. You take round number 9, and this series 2-0.
But you said it might not happen, the interrogation. But boy, did it happen. The second one I have ever seen. I believe that has ever happened as well, especially in a tournament like this. Unbelievable. But that was Nip at full power.
Nip at full power indeed. They definitely are not taking any L's today as they start to move all the way through. And, you know, last tournament, they didn't quite show up. They finished 7th, 8th. This time, they're not finishing 7th or 8th at all. They will proceed into the semi-finals to face the winners of our next matchup. It will look like as we see Black Dragons take on Pain Gaming in about 10 minutes or so. So we'll be right back. Stick around.